Star Trek is owned by CBS Studios, Inc. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were, but without it we go nowhere. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. These are the voyages of the USS Pegasus.
So for people who can't see the map, so there's a bunch of ships, and we know which one we want.
Do we?
I think so. It says target.
Well, on the map it does, but it doesn't. I thought you were saying the characters know already where it is. Oh.
Well, our sensors would probably be pinging a specific warp signature, right?
If it's emitting a warp signature, that's given that if the warp core's even on.
Well, I guess, yeah, honestly, I don't know what kind of ships the Orions use, but I mean, you could still be measuring radiation at a certain wavelength and dilithium crystals, whether or not the warp core is active. It's still going to be giving off radiation.
So
although
we've come out of warp on the other side of the asteroid belt. Is this like a
just
shipyard?
near the asteroids?
It's a graveyard, yeah.
Yeah.
In space.
Yes, because they're ships.
Right, but this is Orion Space, correct?
Correct. You are in violation of
so
treaty
we're looking
at
at
this
a
time.
bunch of old Orion ships.
And a couple of Ferengi and a couple of ones you're not quite sure of.
We've already committed crimes. Oh dear.
Yeah, that was fast.
Okay.
They all look very old and run down, like definitely getting scrapped for whatever usage they can.
All right, so the XO speaks up and says, Lieutenant Ora, please scan for any other signs of activity from ships other than the target ship.
All right.
I want to get a feeling for if any Orion pirates are operating right at this moment.
2 success.
Nice.
It looks like there are 2 Orion merchant ships. One is arriving and one is leaving. We'll have to avoid them.
Roger that. And Hunt's up at the controls.
Okay, so to avoid them, we're probably going to need some, I'm guessing it's control and con.
Okay, well, you have noticed that there is a sensor array and there is 4 weapon systems that are guarding the yard. So flying just straight in,
Yep.
Maybe not.
the merchants are reasonably large and reasonably slow.
Now, however, we might be able to mask our
One's going in.
arrival.
One is going in.
How close is it to us? Like, would it be difficult to get there in time for?
To the merchant?
Hmm.
No, it'd be a roll,
It's
but
a big ship.
yeah. It's not huge,
It's a big
but
ship,
it looks like it hauls probably the scrap from here. So it's reasonably large. So it's more like a bulk hauler. So it's not a nimble sort of vessel.
All right.
Have ship recognition, you think, but of course you don't know
Yes.
how they modify stuff. But typically their sensors are not always great because they don't need to be.
Okay, so I probably would have disabled any like automatic broadcast from our ship anyway. So Hunt will try and fly in and either piggyback on the wake of the ship or maybe actually literally piggyback itself on the ship.
So which one are you doing?
Which one would be better? Probably on the ship. That's a hard roll and land with a slight touch. Use some magnetic clamps. Yep. I can do that.
Okay, give me a roll.
Daring and con.
Now, I have hazard awareness or composure as focuses. I don't know if that can help at all.
I also have composure.
Are you going to assist?
Sure.
Alright. Okay. I'm rolling. Oh my god.
That's not good.
Oh my god.
Well,
Oh my god. Really?
Well, now we need the composure. So this is-
well, I
that's one
suppose so.
success, but what?
So you succeeded,
one critical.
because landing on the back of a bulk freighter is not particularly hard. But something in the scene goes wrong. I would suggest that this is a complication, not a catastrophe. So
You don't hit your
you don't
head.
have to say the Orions have detected you and open fire. That, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to make it a catastrophe. It's a complication.
A complication.
Like maybe something to attach yourself to the other ship is now messed up. So it works this time, but maybe it won't work again or something.
Do these ships usually carry junk inside, or are they, or like?
Yeah, it's more internal. Like a cargo bay.
The freighter comes up really fast. He pulls around to the left, tucks up underneath, but the magnetic grapplers don't engage. And he's turned around. I'm going to have to keep piloting this ship. The grapplers haven't engaged. There's obviously a fault. This stupid shuttle being as old as it is, things aren't working on this either.
Take a point of mental stress.
Mental
Yeah,
stress?
it's just stress. It covers both.
Okay. Alright.
Just for now, you got to concentrate. You compose your shit, not freaking out or anything, but it's taking more. You're having to correct as it corrects and not hit it, and stay close to it. So that sort of that focus that's required when it's over. It's like, phew, and you pass the threshold, and it looks like the sensor array is designed to scan without, not within. Now, the admin building is a large station. Not as big as Narandra, but it's reasonably large, and it's obviously there to oversee all the work that's being done. If you fly next to it, someone might see you. They do have glass, big panels. Or transparent... What the hell do they call it?
I mean, in Star Wars, it's transparisteel. I don't know about in Star Trek.
Yeah, they got a fancy name for it too. But same sort of thing. It's like, there's viewports and that. So if you fly next to that, someone might go, oh crap, what's that? But otherwise, you think the main sensor array is designed to scan for incoming things. It's not scanning the actual yard.
Alright, so... Man, this is painful. This guy doesn't know how to fly for shit. I'm having to constantly adjust everything. And he's flying a great big freighter. Exo, what did you want me to do? Stay with this, or did you want me to drop off and...
I'm sorry.
Power down and glide to our target?
Yeah, maybe we should do that. See if you can use maneuvering thrusters to orient ourselves on a glide path to the subject ship, and then power us in that direction, and our momentum should carry us.
Well, it depends on where the freighter's going, but yeah.
No, but while we're kind of flying with the thing, you can plot a course, and at a time that you feel is the best time, give a thrust in that direction, and then our momentum should carry. So I want to minimize our ion trail leaving the path of the freighter to get to the subject Starfleet ship.
My concern is the target ship is right in front of the admin building. So where's where are we located now underneath the ship? In regards to the admin, like...
You are coming in to the left of the bottommost ship. So third from left, on the bottom row. Almost dead middle. Almost, but not quite.
Okay, so, I mean, I don't know, I don't think there's a way we get around this. I think no matter what we do, I would be happy to hear your options, Lieutenant. Or, Commander.
Commander. Lieutenant Commander.
Actually, I can't even use that in this mission. I have to say Mr. Hunt. I'd be happy to hear your options, Mr. Hunt.
Mr. Hunt? Yep. How did that... Why did that... Oh, that's right. Okay, so options. It's taken a bit to keep up with the flight shenanigans of this freighter captain. Hey, you can see a bead of sweat coming down on the side of Hunt's forehead. Probably the safest option is to see where this guy sets down, and then I can just gently push us in the right direction, or I can park the ship as it stands where we are at the moment, but without actually grappling onto the ship, and we can use EV suits which have a smaller footprint.
Won't he be taking this ship to the admin building before they officially put it in the shipyard?
Okay. Hunt's judging where this ship is going. Does it look like it's going to the admin building?
It looks like it might. It's not telecasting where it's going, but it is turning more to the left.
I'm just thinking that, like, I don't know the Orion procedure, but that might be the whole reason of having the admin building there, is that ship comes in, gets logged, then they go put it into the shipyard, right? And dismantle it and do whatever with it.
Well, surely they could just call in. They wouldn't have to visually inspect a ship. That would...
I don't know. I mean, you're saying it's a building, but I'm assuming it's actually a space station or something, is it not?
Yes, it's a great big space station.
Yeah. So, I mean, there might be things that they do face to face. I honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at it going, I don't know why else you would have a big space station there.
Maybe that's the dismantling facility.
Could be. In which case, if this ship is just coming in, it's probably going there. It might go there to get stripped down, and then they, tow the hull out to the shipyard.
Alright, so my advice, EXO, would be for us to drop off and tag ourselves on one of the derelict spacecraft. And
Okay.
then from there, I could either push the shuttlecraft without power, just under thrusters only. Well, emergency thrusters towards our target. That would require a bit of skill, or I guess how much equipment do we need to take? And we actually need this shuttlecraft over to the ship as well. So I thought we could just fly over using EV suits, but that's not going to cut it. So we need to make a decision now. We either stick with this ship or we drop off.
I think we have to drop off.
Alright.
But I'm willing to let the crew come to the logical procedure would be to let the crew decide as a whole, and we weigh all our options.
What are the chances that that ship actually works?
The NX?
Yeah.
You haven't got up to it yet.
Yeah, Aaron, but looking at the other ships that are in the
They're
shipyard,
not in good shape.
They're in good shape.
They're not in good shape.
Oh.
They're not.
That's why they're getting. That's why they're getting like dismantled.
It seems like if it's here, the chances of it being usable are low.
So Hunt's powering down the shuttle. If we continue on our present course, would the admin spaceport see us?
Yes. If someone's looking outside.
If someone's looking outside.
And the ship is moving while you're doing all this, so you're getting to it.
Yeah. I'm looking. I'm trying to time when we could drop to a nearby ship. All right. Did you want me to make another roll? See if I can thrust her down to a nearby ship.
It's all good, don't worry.
You're
Well,
kidding me.
maybe it's not all good, but...
Really, 219s?
219s.
How?
Dice
Can I
Maiden
assist
doesn't
on
like
this one?
us.
Not now that the roll has been done.
Not now that it's been done.
Yeah, you have to do it before.
I was thinking so, but you never know until you ask.
Oh my god, we are now floating in the middle of the shipyard.
Oh, that's something.
Hunt looks back. He's white as a ghost.
Yennek just raises an eyebrow.
Oh, hopefully nobody's looking.
I may have.
Did we have any momentum you can spend to buy a success?
We
How
have
much
2.
do we have? But
2.
I've already. Oh my god.
Is that something you have to do beforehand as well, though?
Buy dice? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just as well. We probably want to have that for actually getting the heck out of here.
And maybe not dying.
Yes.
Well, we don't have enough to stop anybody from dying.
Well, all the ship's powered down too, so. I may have underestimated just how heavy this ship is. I guess with all you guys in here and the extra equipment.
Apologies, I'm sure.
Think to calculate the total weight of everything that we have on board here. we oh no. So currently we're floating out in the middle of space between 2 hulls, 2 ships. So unless something happens, it's just going to be a waiting game.
We spend the rest of our life there. Unless something happens.
The brash young pilot who's supposed to be really good has just demonstrated he can't pilot for shit.
Having an off day.
Definitely an off day.
An off couple days, to be fair.
So there's not much Hunt can do until he gets into a position where he can maybe guide the ship further, so we're at risk of being, I guess, seen.
That is correct.
At present.
I would say that is correct with 2 19s.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, I don't know that there's much we can do about that now.
Does the runabout have weapons?
Basic ones, yeah.
Oh, so like phasers.
Obviously not as strong as the ship, but
Yeah.
I think we just have to hope for the best, really.
It might have shields that can withstand a little bit of beating from a ship. A little bit.
Yep. But the ship is now completely powered down, even like life support. So we're running on just basically air thrusters just to guide us.
The freighter that
Through-
was coming in, what kind of ship was it?
an Orion freighter.
Damn it.
So unless something happens, there's not much I can do.
Nothing has happened yet.
Mr.
Good.
Aura?
Well, Hunt's trying to make calculations to do like an emergency blow to thrust the shuttle up towards the ship in question, given that we might be heading in the wrong direction. So he's trying to wait for a clear path because he doesn't want to bump into another ship. And I think I'll spend a momentum if everyone's in agreement with that.
Sure.
Yeah, the way it's going, yes, I think we should.
Well, maybe someone can keep an eye out in the window and let me know when the ship is in view.
Sure. What would that be, Aaron?
That's an assist.
So what do I roll? 320s.
Mm-hmm. If you're spending a momentum.
I'm spending a momentum.
Okay, and what do
Yep.
what do I roll if I'm giving an assist?
Depends how you're.
1d20.
Yeah, you roll 1d20.
Just one?
Yep.
Okay.
And you're rolling against whichever thing you are doing to assist.
Oh, so what? Oh, okay. So he did well. He got 2 successes at least.
2 successes.
And what did you roll against, Adam?
I rolled against daring and con.
Daring and con.
Because he's piloting. So
Wow.
it depends what you're doing to assist.
So I was keeping watch out of the window.
Yeah.
So that would be
Yeah.
reason and something. Either security, possibly science, depending.
Science.
Or con,
Maybe
I guess.
science. Or even con.
I'm leaning away from con
Okay.
because con is
okay.
more
Sure.
the actual.
Flying.
Science. Then
So maybe
it'd have to
reason
be
and science. Now, I do have
So-
hazard awareness as a focus.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like by science it'd be like helping with calculation sort of thing.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'll take a chance. Yay! So 3 successes.
Okay, you get 1 momentum.
Nice.
All right.
So we spent a
Excellent.
momentum to gain a
And
momentum.
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
momentum. So we're back to 2.
So by visual calculations, does it look like this ship is... The shuttle is heading towards the ship?
Yes. But you're going to have to maneuver when you get there. And you can see it, and it's definitely an NX, but you do not think it is flight worthy. It does not have any warp nacelles.
Oh.
Yeah, just the nacelles, but the core might still be in the engine section.
Correct.
right?
Alright. So to make this job easier, I'll have to maneuver it into like one of the shuttle bays. I'm
Or it
assuming.
has docking.
Yeah, but a warp core wouldn't fit through a docking bay.
What you don't know is if anyone's on it.
Yeah.
We do not know that.
And shuttle
Probably
bays
not, though.
are a bay.
Yeah.
Is it lit up?
No.
Oh, the shuttle bay doors are probably closed anyway. Well, are the shuttle bay doors closed? Can we tell from here?
You're at the side.
So I'd have to dock. Okay. Alright, maneuvering thrusters. I got 2 successes. For the thing I didn't have to roll for.
Well,
Can you pocket
Dice
those
Maiden
for
knew
later?
you didn't need it.
Okay, so Hunt sort of maneuvers the ship using the thrusters, and you hear a kadunk. With the docking, is that all automated?
Probably to some degree.
Well, he gets up from the console and types away on the keypad at the back of the shuttle, and you can hear what sounds like, pressurization. Alright, I think we are locked on. However, I don't want to start up the shuttle at the moment, because, for reasons. Do we need power to open up the door?
Yes.
Or can we do it
You can do it manually, but it's hard work. But it might have power.
What?
The ship, you haven't tried.
But our ship doesn't have power right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So, we'll have to manually open up this one. Well, this is going to look awkward. If someone looks at this ship and sees a shuttle sticking off the end of it.
Well, hopefully they're busy.
Wow, I haven't had to use thrusters like that in a long time. Since the academy. My goodness.
Well, I mean, you got us here.
Oh. Yeah. Someone want to give me a hand with this door? With this hatch?
And it's like a hand crank, so it takes a little while.
Yep. We'll do that.
Alright, I'll help.
And you get it open. Takes
Cool.
about 5 minutes of decently intensive labour.
Mm-hmm.
I guess during that time, Aura and Yennek will be gathering the necessary stuff to dismantle the warp core.
So I'm assuming we see the...
External hatch, yes.
Yep. Is there a keypad or anything
Yep.
like that?
I don't quite know how they open it, but yep, however they do. Whatever's there, there would be something. There'd have to be something of some description.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's probably a panel that you lift up that you might have to type in, emergency access numbers or something like that. So Hunt will lift up the and key in, I guess, and pull a lever, and the docking hatch opens.
It does. It is powered. Yep,
assuming.
it is powered.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
And you can hear the sound of welding and tools at use.
Oh, good.
yes, good, because that sound will mask us.
I mean, up to a point, yes.
Hey, well, for all intents and purposes, what are we? We're the disassembly crew.
Got it.
Do we want to go that route or have our phasers out and ready to go?
I wouldn't have phasers out ready to go because everyone's here, I guess, just to strip. And if you have ships coming in just to strip parts, then we could just be, members of a crew of one of the freighters that have just come in to strip parts. So,
Great. If anybody
Hello.
asks, we're here for that.
yep. We're here for the warp core.
Perfect.
Yes, I think we
Does-
probably should have thought of that beforehand. What would be our story if we're captured?
I mean, we
We-
could say that we're the team who's here to dismantle the warp core.
For whom?
So,
That is what I was wondering as well. Who do we say sent us?
I would say From. I would say we hang From out to dry if things go south. Say something like
catch the name of
From.
the ship
From
that
has
was coming
signed. From has signed a arrangement with, mistress in the.
Well, I don't know that we want to connect his name with it in case we need to give a story, but also manage to get back.
Okay, so
Then-
a Ferengi benefactor has signed an arrangement with the Orion.
How's
I don't know,
how's
what's the
about this?
subject?
We don't know. Not our pay grade. We were sent
above
to
our
get
pay
the
grade.
core, and that's what we're here for. Don't know who signs the paycheck. We just know the job.
Keep it simple. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we better go.
Yep. Let's go.
All right.
I guess we're heading down to engineering.
I guess.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. We will make our way to the engineering.
Is it? Yeah. I guess, Hunt, having studied about the warp core, you probably know where it's located.
Well, most of you know warp core engineering.
Yep. Oh, well, is this ship the same sort of ship that the Pegasus is? Like, it's an NX, but it might be...
It's the original.
Different.
It's not a refit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You come to a T intersection, and to your left, about 50 feet away, are two Orions welding on something. And further up are another two Orions.
Do we know
To the right.
which way to go from here
You can probably go to the right,
to get to engineering?
but so far you have seen 100% Orions.
It's alright.
Well, I mean, unless anybody prevents her, Kelle's just gonna keep walking under the strategy of if you act like you know what you're doing, people will often ignore you.
Yeah, but I mean, do we have anything that we can do while we're moving through the ship to suddenly look green?
Nope.
No.
I don't know, medical officers or anything you can do to maybe...
Nope, I cannot make anybody look green. I'm sorry.
They could probably smell us anyway. Alright,
I'm a doctor, not a makeup artist.
so, Tuan, this is your call. You want to lead the way?
Why is it my call?
And your voices are echoing a little bit in the halls as you're having a conversation.
Let's just keep it down. And
What is it? Hunt's looking at the Orions, just realizing, oh dear, what have we done?
And their guns you think are disruptors, which do not have a stun setting.
So
And are they holding
No,
them?
they're not. But they have them on their hips.
let's make our way to the engineering section.
Are you stealthing
All
or
right.
are you going?
Can we do both?
I mean, I don't believe we can stealth if they already know we're
They
here.
they
That
have not
doesn't-
acknowledged that they've noticed you.
Oh, okay. I thought that was what it meant when our voices were echoing.
No, I'm just saying you realise that they're echoing. They have not.
Ah. Well, what do you think? Stealthy or confident?
Exo's ruling here.
Let's go with confident.
All right, then let's casually walk to engineering.
Yeah, I'm not like saying that we're going to come in slapping each other on the back and pretending,
No, I know.
you know, but we move with purpose. How's that?
All right. Then Kelle will continue on walking purposefully towards engineering.
Hunt's following Kelle. But he's got his hand sort of... Because we're wearing phases too, right?
I mean,
I'm
I'm
assuming.
not wearing mine. Are you?
I
Probably should have been.
had brought mine, but I don't know whether we should be wearing them.
Whether
know
or
that
not
you have
Kelle
it
should be
wearing it
wearing
open.
hers, she is not.
Okay.
Alright. Let me roll. What is everyone else wearing or not wearing?
wearing or not wearing?
Their phases.
Oh,
I have mine.
Yeah, I have mine.
again, I have one. I'm just not
But
wearing it.
Aura and Yennek are carrying, and I guess I'm imagining it as we're towing along or kind of guiding with her hand, because it's probably floating along the equipment that's necessary.
My phaser's probably in a pocket, and he's just got his sort of hand, on the outside of the pocket, just sort of toying with the end of the phaser.
And you come around the corner that leads into engineering, and there's 2 Orions walking down the hall. You're about 6 feet apart. They look up. One of them yells, "Intruders!" Player initiative. And I think we said Kelle was in front, so realistically, it's Kelle's action.
Sheesh.
Send the counselor in first.
Yep.
Maybe she can talk them down. Convince them. No, you are the intruders.
Oh, she's just gonna look a bit confused and...
How much momentum do you have?
2.
Because they're going for their guns.
Move, so she's no longer in front because she doesn't have her phaser out, and then just the rest of the action would be spent getting her phaser out of her
Okay,
bag.
so now you have 2 choices. You have 2 momentum, which means you can keep the initiative, or they go.
Yes. Just into, yes. What do people wish to do?
Keep the initiative.
Really?
Keep the initiative?
I would save the momentum so one of us doesn't die.
Well, I think the point is if we
But-
keep the initiative, we could perhaps prevent someone from dying.
Yep.
So the thing you're going to gamble against is you might take one of them out,
But then there's one more.
but the second one, if he hits,
Yes, but against them having the initiative and shooting twice at 2 people, then we only get to save 1 person anyway. So we're risking everything on one person taking out one and the other person and another person taking out the other one.
Wouldn't only one of them shoot?
Well, yes, but then say one of them shoots and then we use an action to turn that kill to an injury, the next one can shoot again, and then we don't have 2 momentum anymore to turn that kill into an injury. So keeping momentum, again, this is very meta, but keeping momentum allows us to at least have the chance of getting it from 2 to 1 before we have to worry about any of that.
I don't know. I'll go with the party, but I think. So how does the initiative work?
player always goes first.
Player...
Enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy, until
Yep.
you have no more of one. So if you have, in this case, it would go player, enemy, player, enemy, player, player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you hold it, Kelle went, so then it'd be player, enemy, player, enemy, player. Because...
So then it makes more sense to save the momentum if one of us gets hit.
Or does it?
Or does
I
it?
feel like either
Because-
way, we have, unless one of them misses, either way someone dies. Because either...
Well, okay, so... this is being bad because we're mettering now. But,
I know.
We get to a point... we lose the initiative. They shoot. That person shoots. The Orion shoots. One of us gets hit. We use momentum to change that into an injury. Then we take out the next person and they
But we can't do
shoot.
both of those. I don't think. I think it would be they shoot somebody and then either, before it's one of them again, you change
hang
the...
on. Wait. So you're saying that if they shoot, they hit one of us, if we spend momentum, then we lose that initiative
No.
again?
Well, no,
one gets
I
an
think if
action?
we spend momentum to change the kill to an injury, that's an action.
No.
Isn't it? No, it's not? Okay, never mind then.
No.
So it makes more sense to do that
Okay.
than it does then to keep the initiative.
Sure, then
because-
it's their turn.
Yeah, and don't forget, we can miss too.
Well, yes, so everyone can.
So, yes, you're right. It's a lot of meta, but you're also dealing with learning the system. So I'm willing to overlook...
to forgive us.
While we're learning, after a while, we shouldn't break into combat happens and go, okay, time out, because it is a big time out. Let's discuss this.
Freeze time.
If we get hit with a disruptor, is that permadeath?
Yeah.
Like,
if we don't have momentum to fix it, yeah.
Is that automatic death on hit?
Yeah, kinda. I think. Hang on.
If we don't have momentum to fix it, yeah.
Let me double check, because it is kind of important.
Wow. Because
it's kind of like Daleks and Cybermen in Doctor Who. They tend to do the same thing. They have an L in their damage, and people are like, what's that for? Lethal.
Lethal.
Yeah, if a Dalek comes and goes, exterminate, you get hit, you just die. You have to have story points. Which I was desperately trying to give you really low target numbers, and one of them was 0 and you failed. That was your 219. So I was like... I thought, there's a chance there's a fight coming up. I'll let them get some momentum and you roll 219s. So let me just quickly check.
Well, Dice Maiden hasn't been very nice to us.
So I guess we shall die. Oh well.
I guess I'll die then.
Yep.
Thanks, Dice Maiden.
Dice Maiden, can we have a talk? Please cooperate for the next little while at least.
And obviously, the disruptor fire, the chances of other Orions hearing it could be an issue.
Yeah, so if we do deal with this, we're just going to want to run.
And stun them.
I suppose. But we didn't.
We'll know next time.
So,
next time.
Or
Sorry,
we'll be dead.
Guys,
we just won't ask. We just walk up, stun.
I was looking up stuff on the Orions, but what did you do?
What did who do?
What did you do? Because you went first, right?
The only thing, because I didn't have my phaser ready, because that makes sense in character.
Because there is a thing though that it says a character is doesn't die until the end of a scene, which might mean the medic might be able to
do something within the scene.
So lethal might be it's lethal, but there's still that chance to save them.
Cool. Let's hope.
Okay, but so you didn't have your phaser, so you did
all
what?
I was able to do was move out of immediate line of fire and get my phaser.
Oh, you didn't try to. Didn't try to talk to them.
Well, I did, but that was the minor action, and they're not having it.
They know that there's no one else but Orion's here, so you're obviously intruders.
They're not liking us, so.
This is what it's all about.
This is what it's all about.
We're Romulan. This is the kind of shit we do.
Aura is not a Romulan.
I know, but...
none of us are.
Yennek being a Vulcan looks similar to a Romulan. Looks very
and none of us look like an Orion.
Oh, okay. So here's a rule I forgot about. Immediate momentum spends can be paid for by adding to threat instead.
Okay. So if you desperately need it, you can be like...
A character may alternatively avoid an injury by suffering a complication, which will still represent a minor injury and some other consequence of the attack. You can only avoid an injury once per scene, however.
Okay. Does that include death as an injury?
That's what I'm looking for. So you can't keep going, I'm going to do this and then
I avoid it.
Yeah.
I avoid it. More complications. I've got 50 complications. Oh, okay.
We possibly should have done our research.
Maybe, but what would be the fun in that? I guess.
But we have two ways of negating that damage anyway. Man, I got so much to add.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'll have to look it up, but we have found two other ways that you can avoid death. If you don't have
Which
if
are...
you don't have the momentum, you can give me 2 threat,
Okay.
and in exchange you get enough momentum to avoid the injury. So it adds to my threat pool.
To not die.
Or you can take some damage, and you will take a complication.
All right, so let's hope for the best.
But
Is it just avoid an injury or avoid death?
It's avoiding death. Now I got to find it because I'm sure they were talking about. I'm going to go with the damage thing that I found for the other thing, but there was a bit where it said, I'm sure it said, if you get hit and you can't stop this, you instantly go into basically the saving throw mode, like death saves, which is you're out of the action. A medic can stabilize you.
Okay.
So I've got to find the exact thing. So I've got to do some research on that. So for now, I'll go with the other thing just to keep it fair. Now,
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so let's find out who's gonna nearly die.
2d20. That is a hit. So one of them.
Yikes. I mean, I was in front and I didn't go immediately to the back. Like, I only stepped back a little bit. So I'm still near the front somewhere.
Everyone's got a 1 in 4 chance, so it doesn't really matter what number you choose here.
2.
I'll go 3.
That makes me 4, I guess.
Hey. I am almost dead.
So it was.
Oh, great. The only one who can save the rest of us.
Well, I mean, I did speak to them, so maybe they're mad about that.
Okay, so you take. And I'll spend that on that. So you take 7 points of damage.
Okay. Which,
Is an injury.
it certainly is. It's also nearly dead for me anyway.
So the counselor does go down.
Yep. And sorry, injuries, are there specific things for that, or is it just a... I don't remember.
If the character suffers 5 or more damage from a single attack or hazard, the character suffers an injury. When a character suffers an injury, they are incapacitated and unable to take any actions or attempt any tasks for the remainder of the scene. If a character would suffer 2 injuries from a single attack, resolve those injuries one at a time.
Okay, so just an injury. It's nothing specific.
So you're not dead. It's
Nope.
not death because unless it goes over your stress level, which I don't think this did.
Nope, it did not.
If a character was already injured, then takes another injury
Nope.
immediately, that turns into a lethal injury instead, which did not happen. So you can avoid the injury if you want, however.
And take a
And
complication?
take a complication.
I will. I guess.
What is a complication? Just like in general, that happens to the whole party.
It can be, yeah, I'll allow it to be anything that's a complication. But it's got to be a complication.
I avoid an injury, but in being shot, I have dropped my phaser and it's out of reach. So I'll say instead of going down, I did get hit, but it was... I don't want to say glancing blow because they're still very bad weapons, but hit in the arm rather than anything particularly necessary for life, which causes her to drop the phaser. And what kind of injury? Is that like a burn?
Yeah, it'd be like
What's
a burn.
that? Yeah, it's a burn. Okay. Got a burned arm.
Now, you cannot do another avoid injury if they shoot at you again.
No, not in
Yes.
this scene.
Okay,
That was my one.
player action.
Alright, Aura can go. So he's been kind of on guard the whole time, with his phaser ready. And he is going to shoot at the one that hasn't shot yet. That's a crit.
Which you need 2 successes, which you just got.
Excellent.
How do you want to do this?
And
Ahaha.
so I raise my phaser and I shoot him right in the chest, knocking him backwards. And he is stunned, unconscious, kind of crumpled against the wall.
And it will be the last 2 players.
After you, Mr. Hunt.
The Andorians...
Just because we're in battle doesn't mean we don't have to be polite.
The Orion's looking a little bit worried at this point.
And Dorian's just like looking between us at us both, going, "Really?
No, I insist. Really? After me. After you.
After me.
All right." Hunt, seeing the councillor get blown away.
Hey, not quite that bad.
Well, in his mind, you were literally blown away. But, yep. Lurches forward and tries to get this guy into a chokehold. Oh, it's 2d20, isn't it?
Oh no. Oh no.
It's daring and security, isn't it? 14 meets my 14. Is that correct?
Not
So
sure
one
what
success.
grapple is, so I'll just treat it as a melee attack for now, which is 1 success needed. It's probably a contest. It's probably a contested roll if it's a grapple, but
Well, I could go for my unarmed strike, which is a knockdown, non-lethal.
I don't mind.
Helps.
I'm just saying I've got to look up and see if grapple's actually something specific or not.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, because sometimes
Alright.
they do, sometimes they
All
don't.
I've got is, I've got unarmed strike, which is knockdown, non-lethal, a non-lethal knockdown.
Which is if you do that, you roll your security in d6.
A security in d6. Okay. So roll 3d6. 5, 4,
So
and 1.
the 1's a point of damage and the 5's a point of damage, and it has an effect. Okay.
Knockdown.
So you clock him and he goes down. He's still up.
Mhm.
Yennek.
Okay, a couple of questions. They were coming from engineering? Shit, so we need that area. The other thing is, how does the disruptor weapon work? Does it have a kickback when you fire
Nope.
it? Or no?
Nope. Energy weapon.
Would the warp field containment generator cover these guys?
Cover them with what?
Would it contain the disruptor fire?
In what way?
Well, in other words, if I could deploy this thing and generate a containment field around them, would that containment field contain their weapon?
No idea.
Okay, no, and that was because I'm trying to solve this quickly and quietly. My other option was going to be to throw the things for the anti-gravity and have them floating up, but then if there's no kickback on the weapon, then it doesn't really do much for me.
Well,
okay, then I guess
he's laying on the ground right now.
Firing.
He's just been punched in the face and is laying on the ground.
Oh, I don't have nerve pinch, but the other guy then.
One's down, the other one's on the ground, but he's still up.
Oh, one's down, dead down?
Not dead, but he's unconscious.
Unconscious.
Unconscious down. Okay, so the guy that's down but not unconscious, I will try to knock him out.
Okay.
What am
Daring
I
security?
rolling? Let me ask that again. What am I rolling?
Daring security.
Let me ask that one more time. What am
2d20.
I
guys,
I know. It's just those are my suckiest things.
Oh, I see.
I kept asking, hoping to get a different answer. But
sorry.
do I have anything that
They're my worst ones, too.
Yep, mine too.
Does hazard?
We're quite a group for combat.
Hazard probably doesn't come into that part of it. Values? No, probably not. Okay. Well, one success.
That's
anyway.
all you need if it's hand to hand.
Yeah.
All right.
You roll security and D6.
Hang on. Oh. Is he handy or shooting?
He was handing. He said he wants to knock him out, so I assumed was moving up, grabbing him, like on the ground, grabbing him in one hand and smacking him with the other.
Yeah, of course. That's when I roll a 1. You stupid.
Oh, no.
Dice thing is
Well,
killing me, man.
right
That's still a
now,
point.
it is a
Yep.
point.
Oh no, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
I have no choice but to take it, but I don't have to like it.
So how do you want to do this?
3.
Yeah.
Just kind of gives them, an efficient karate chop to the temple or something, and maybe that knocks it out.
Roger Moore chop to the neck.
Exactly.
And he goes, huh! And falls back unconscious.
Vulcan wouldn't do anything too gory or anything like that. He just
They're both unconscious.
quick and neat. All right. So then I suggest to Kelle if she can, inject them with something to keep them out for like an hour or something like that. She must have something in her medical kit that would
Give me.
I think she's
anesthetize.
she'll fix herself up first.
Yeah. Sorry, I can work on that in a
sorry.
second.
Yeah. You got obviously yes. We have to look at you. Yes, understand. But just saying,
she's
we don't
going
want to
through
have
her-
people waking up and coming after us later on either.
She's going through a medical kit with the non-burned arm looking for a hypospray, too.
Yep. Yeah, obviously, I take care of yourself first, but after that, we want to anesthetize these patients.
Can I do a medical roll on myself?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. And we're not fighting anymore. I like that. So, reason medicine? Or... Okay, great. Love it. That is much better for me. Ahaha! 2 success.
Okay. And you gain back your medicine amount.
I gain back my medicine. Oh, the
Score.
The stress?
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
All of it?
well, whatever your medicine score is.
Oh, 4. So I gain back that many from
Mhm.
stress? Oh, nice.
It's a house rule someone's using. I don't dislike it. He does say that he does prefer it if the players, though, don't treat it like it's gone, kind of.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, it's not... The burn is not immediately gone. She's basically disinfected, anesthetized, and, wrapped
Yeah,
it.
his description on the forum, which I didn't mind, was you have dealt with the wound, but obviously, yes, it's not healing. It's not Baldre casting, and the wound heals up.
No, it's not gone. It's just dealt with.
So yeah, and he's done it because I sort of agree, because the problem is what happened a bit to see, because the actual rule, we couldn't deal with Aura's injury in the first one until the end of the scene.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, while realistic, removes him from the scene completely until its end, which I don't like to do. But the sub part of the rule was you can only do that once, which made sense. So if he got hit again, you can't do it again. You'd have to deal with that injury if it was something that was dangerous, but you can't. He doesn't get the stress back, so it can't be just because the point wasn't to make it like magical healing.
Yes.
But I've got to read
All right.
that whole section as well, because there's some extra stuff in there too that I've forgotten. I know I've forgotten.
Yes.
So Yes.
And I'm going to finish reading the science and medicine.
Yes, there's some extra stuff in there too, which can get used, which is good. So, yeah, I've got a little bit of homework before next session. It's a case of I don't know what I've forgotten until I know what I've forgotten.
Yes. That's fair. That's very fair. Yep.
So I've got to do some checking. So yeah, this one's a little bit clunky tonight because we found a couple of areas of the rules I've completely forgotten.
Alright, so once Kelle has dealt with her arm the best she can for now, she will sedate the 2 Orions, as requested.
Are you leaving them in the hall?
Me personally?
I'm just saying to the party in general.
Is there a room there?
Engineering's ahead of you.
They were coming out of engineering.
Oh, okay.
If somebody wants to drag them in, I don't think I'm going to offer at the moment, but...
Yep, we'll drag them in.
Well, Hunt will drag one in.
I'll grab the feet of one of them.
Okay, then I'll stay on with the equipment, because like I say, someone's got to guide the equipment in there, at least one person.
And the door opens to engineering as you drag them in, and luckily, no one...
It's not full.
No one, yeah, there's not a whole bunch of Orions in there, because there could have been, but there isn't.
There could have been. We just drag in
they're
2
all
unconscious
around
Orions.
Having a dismantling party.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we just found these guys out in the hallway like this.
Yeah, they obviously
drag them in, position them against the wall, turn around, see a bunch of other guys.
Oh, hi.
So maybe one thing we can do is any kind of easily identifying marks that they have and adorn ourselves with that. Like if there's some bandana or something that they're wearing or whatever.
The problem was that they know there's no Orions on the ship. And even if we take a bandana, we won't look like Orions.
Yeah, but from a distance you might. If you're looking down a long corridor. If it's something that's very, very, very pronounced. If they're wearing armor that has a specific thing on a shoulder or something like that, you might not think twice seeing someone walking by carrying a warp core with this big thing on their shoulder from 100 feet away. I don't know. For the seconds it will take us to do it, it might be worth it. Just to look. If they don't have anything, then they don't have anything. I'm just...
Yep, we can
Are they
definitely
wearing
look.
similar
Trying to come up
clothes
with
to the
ideas.
others? They are.
Like, who knows? What if they were
There
wearing...
is a sense of logic there, which I completely understand.
What if they were
But I
wearing
also
coverings
think
over their faces? Like,
that we shouldn't be leaving these guys alive either. But
I don't think we need to kill them, do we?
No, we definitely shouldn't kill them.
Well, that's why I was
Just
saying
said we shouldn't leave them
anesthetize
alive.
Anesthetize
well,
them.
they don't play nice.
Well, that doesn't mean we have to not.
We have a higher moral code than they do.
That doesn't make them any less dangerous.
They are sedated. They're not a problem for now, and I have to say I object in the strongest terms to killing anyone.
Yeah, it's not necessary to kill them, but I definitely want to see them put out of action for the duration of time it's going to take us to capture the warp core.
Yes, I admit to not being an expert by any means on Orion biology, but they should be out for at least a few hours.
All right.
All right, then let us begin.
Let's.
And engineering is in a complete state of disarray, but in the center of it, you can see the pulsing of the... Yep, they always do. If you watch them, they go... Nice light. So light, it's mainly a light effect than, I think more than anything, but you can see that the chamber is... because the core's inside there, but you can see the pulsating of the light, so it has a working core. Okay. And that's where we will
Nice.
head. The Voyages of the USS Pegasus utilises the excellent official rules Star Trek Adventures released by Mephidius Games. Featuring Emily as Lieutenant Kelle, Shadow as Lieutenant Aura, Raveninsane as Commander Hunt, Ken as Commander Yennek, and Ghost as the GM. Many of the sounds come from Sirenscape, an excellent app for bringing more life to your gaming table. You can find us at critfail.com.